mighty good, mighty good. I love barbecue.
Barbecue TV.
You develop those asbestos hands over time. What temp is it up there where the sausages are hanging?
Right here?
Yeah.
Temperature?
About?
Maybe 120.
So it doesn't take long to bring them up from. Doesn't take long to bring them up when you put them down on the fire.
Like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah, this is
Give us your name one more time.
Michael Rodriguez.
With
the Salt Lake Barbecue. Texas.
There you go.
All right, guys. So if we're ready, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take you to the back. We're going to start, I guess, with what we do the first things in the morning. You know, how we get the meat here and that kind of stuff. If we had more time, I would take you next door. We have our commissary kitchen on the other side that we produce all the food for this restaurant, our airport operation, and used to our other restaurant we had in Austin. We've got another one across town, a USDA kitchen that we provide all the meat for our shipping and our mail order business. So most of our stuff that we produce comes out of here. Just to put it in perspective, we cooked a little over 2 million pounds of brisket last year at the Salt Lick. That's just the brisket alone. And I couldn't start to even come up with a figure for all the meats together, but that just kind of puts in perspective the kind of business we do. We seat about 1,000 people at a time here on weekends. Friday, Saturdays, midday, Sundays, you probably got to wait anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour for a table. We're a pretty popular spot, pretty well known, good name across the country, so we're glad to have you here. So let's get on started, okay? Today.
2.
Where'd you go?
Kreitz's and Southside Market.
Oh yeah, how'd you like Southside?
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah. We do an event, let's see, Southside, that's out in Luling. Is that right?
We just rode there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it was out in Luling, yeah. Actually, no, that's City Market. Southside's up in Logan.
Yeah.
I do an event with those guys in New York City every year called the Big Apple Barbecue Block Party. It's a big event. About 15 pitmasters from across the country go. I represent the Salt Lick. Feed about 100,000 people in 2 days.
Yeah, that Mac Mills thing goes on into what you're talking about.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, also where Mac Mills goes up
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Mike's buddy of mine now. Yeah. So, is this a talk with what this place used to be?
All right.
I'm sure you guys have seen these already today, pits of this nature. Are all of y'all barbecue people, or you just?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good. So you know what these are. These are J&Rs. Out of Mesquite, Texas, they produce these for us. I've got a couple on trailers as well that we take across the country for various caterings and stuff. Just to start at the beginning then, Salt Lake's been around since 1967. It started as a little square of cement with one picnic table on it, another table with a cash register, and that pit out front that you all walked by. That is the original pit that Thurman Roberts built in 1967. The way he built it, he held his barbecue fork out like this, walked around in a circle, and built the bricks up around that circle so he could reach the middle of it. It's been there ever since. It used to be out, it wasn't covered up, it was just out in the open, so the wind would act as what the hood does now by sucking all the air into it and pulling the smoke up underneath. It's broken a couple times, we've had to repair it, but it's still pretty much the same thing that Thurman had back in the beginning. From there, from the little square of cement that they had, and I'll show you the lines in the wall, they eventually just built onto the building, and we kept building out that way until finally it hit an elm tree on the end, and when you leave the parking lot, you'll see that the trees actually started growing into the building, so we couldn't go any further, so we had to stop here. We stopped here and started building on that side. That over there is our banquet room. We have a rock patio. We have a wedding facility out there. Here on the ranch itself, we have 7 different private party facilities where we host private functions for various groups, anything from corporate groups to weddings, anything like that. So it's not just a barbecue place, it's a party place too.
How big is the ranch?
I'm sorry?
How big is the ranch?
About 700 acres. People always ask, well, do we raise our own cattle here? Well, of course not. 2 million pounds with 2 briskets on each cow, that'd be a lot of cows, you know.
That's a lot of cows.
So we couldn't do that on 700 acres, but Ranch is 700. We're just starting to develop it. We're going to make a residential area out of it. If you notice when you drove in, we have a vineyard that we've started here. We've going to plant this season, as a matter of fact, I want to say about 10 to 15 more acres of grapes. We started with Sangiovese and Tempranillo. We moved to, I think, Grenache, and we're going with one other one. I'm not the wine guy, but...
When's your first squeezing?
We actually had it this year. This has been here for 3 years. We got our first crop this year out of it. I haven't tasted the wine yet, but...
Still too young.
It is too young, but I think they say after 3 years you can do it, but it's still got to mature a little bit. So we did get our first one this year. These that we're going to plant, of course, they're not even in the ground yet. So hopefully within the next 10 years, we should have some pretty good wine coming out of here. This area of Texas turns out is optimal for growing grapes. After the soil samples we had sent off and stuff, down the road, Mendola, the owner of Carrabba's restaurant, I think he sold it. He opened up a restaurant and vineyard down there. Driftwood Vineyards is here in the Hill Country, so the Hill Country is kind of turning towards that now. I'm sorry? Damien, yes, sir.
Will you be able to serve wine? Is it dry?
This is dry around here. We will not be serving the wine here. If anything, it would go to a general store or something like that that we might build, or the winery itself that we plan on building down the road. This place, it is a dry precinct in the county, so it's BYOB here. We don't want to change that. Even should it go wet, somehow we've got to keep the Salt Lick to what it is. People expect to come out here, college groups, big groups, asking for $1 to bring their keg in, you know, and something like that. That's the kind of atmosphere we've got here. It's what people expect, and we really don't want to change that. And I think that what keeps people coming back. That's pretty much a little bit of history of it. The recipes, I could get into those. They're all handed down through the Roberts family from back during the Civil War and that sort of thing. The whole idea of the pit was created back in those times, the wagon trains and stuff. I've heard all this story. It sounds a little far-fetched, but it's the truth. So from that, we've gotten to where we are today. So pits, y'all are familiar with these. The whole process that we go through here is a little different from a lot of the restaurants. I hate to compare our food to Italian food because obviously anyone who knows barbecue knows it's not, but all of our foods, our meats, everything that we put to the table has set for at least 24 hours cryovac before we actually take it out, retemp it, and put it onto the plate. So in that sense, we kind of do treat it like spaghetti or something. It's always better the second day, you know. That's kind of the concept behind that. If we had time, I was telling them earlier, next door is our commissary where we produce everything that feeds the restaurant. So every morning, we have a crew come over, checks the inventory from the night before, what's left, rotates it right to where that goes out first, and then restocks the restaurant with all the brisket, ribs, sausage that we're going to need for at least the first half of the day, depending on the day. Or if it's a slow day like a Monday, for the whole day. And it all holds in this walk-in cooler right over here. From there, it's going to come out to here, onto these tables, one of these racks, and it goes in here to be retemped. It doesn't go all the way there. We finish everything out there on the pit that you walked by in the beginning now. Not only is that a little showpiece for people to walk in and see it right when they get into the restaurant, but it also has a lot to do with the flavor of the meat. You know, finishing the ribs right there over a really high temp over the fire. Hopefully when we get back out there, you'll see how the ribs come out of here, not completely retemp, and it sets right on that fire and sears again on the outside before we take it and put it to the plate.
So everything's cooked in the commissary?
Everything is cooked in the commissary.
You have a commissary with more pits.
I'm sorry?
You have a commissary with more pits.
We do. We have 3 pits larger than these. We've got 2 Southern Prides over there and what's the other one?
Old Hickory.
Old Hickory. One Old Hickory. They're probably twice the capacity of these. I think these we can get 60 briskets in, I think, at a time, and those over there are probably cooking 100 at a time, you know, going all night long, preparing for everything that we need. So it all gets back over to here. The commissary is an amazing thing. I wish I could show you guys that, but I can't. I mean, the amount of product that we put out of there just amazes me. And I mean, not only the meats come out of there, but the beans. They cook our beans over there. They cook, you know, prepare the cabbage. They cook the potatoes. Actually, a lot of the potatoes we're doing right here behind you in this kettle, which has obviously been there a while, missing the side panel on it and stuff. But a lot of the sides we do over here, except for the beans. We pre-cook those. We retemp those here on this side too. The meats. I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here. I keep forgetting where I am. Anyway, so it comes in here, especially the briskets, to retemp. We've got the times down on that, the temperatures. Back up to the front. The ribs get redone up there. The sausage, of course, we don't pre-do. That is all done on the pit out front. Chickens we can do out there on the front. And
You make your own sausage?
we do not make our own sausage. The sausage that we have is our recipe. We have J-Bar B makes our sausage out of Wilder, Texas. It's our spices. It's a pork beef mix sausage. And they deliver to us every week for that. Our ribs here we do the pork spare ribs. Used to be the 3.5 downs. I think the pigs are too big these days to get a 3.5, so they're pretty much forced. At least those are the ones we're getting anyway. We do baby back ribs on Sundays as a special, and beef ribs on Sundays as a special, as well as prime rib on a Sunday. The prime rib that we do it's amazing. It's a big, probably about 30 ounces that we serve on a plate. No. We only do that on Sundays.
Bone in or bone?
Bone in, of course. Yeah.
109.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah. We do special sides with that. Here, the sides that we do are really simple. It's potato salad, coleslaw, and beans. Nothing fancy. I mean, it's straight barbecue out here. You know, potatoes, beans, and that's about it. You know, bread and some wonderful desserts as well. If you've never been to the Salt Lick, we do our pecan pies homemade every day, every morning, and on a busy day we do them in mid-afternoon. We run out, that's terrible. We try not to, but we try and make everything as fresh as possible. The cobblers as well. We do a peach cobbler and a blackberry cobbler homemade. Make them every day, all day long, with the exception of like Monday and Tuesday where it's not real busy. We have a pastry chef come in the morning. By 4 o'clock they leave, and hopefully about 3:30 the cobblers for the evening are coming out of the oven. That way they stay pretty fresh. Here we don't hold any of our meats in alto shams or steam tables or anything like that, like you've probably seen in some places, and that some of you might do, which isn't a bad thing. All of our meats are held on that pit out front. So it never gets steamed or any of that. It stays on the pit. And when we get out to the pit, I'll explain a few things about that to you as well, the different areas of temperature on it and how it really works well for what we're trying to do. That pretty much covers it. Guys, there you have any